the demand. The stars shone brightly above Earth. But tonight the people of Earth did not look at them with wonder. They looked with fear. For decades, humanity dreamed of meeting life beyond the planet. But when the message came, it was not a greeting. It was a command. The transmission echoed across every nation, across every screen, across every device. A voice that was not human spoke in a cold, heavy tone. It carried no kindness. No patience, no respect, Earth, the voice declared. You will kneel before the Galactic Council. You will surrender your armies, your weapons, and your freedom. If you resist, you will be erased from the stars. Leaders gathered in hidden chambers. Some faces were pale, others burned with anger. Some whispered that Earth should surrender. They said humanity was too small, too weak, too divided. They said resistance was suicide, but others pounded fists on the table. They spoke of freedom, of honor, of the right to exist without chains. The people of Earth watched in silence. Fear spread in every home. Children clung to their parents. Soldiers gripped their rifles tighter. Farmers, workers, teachers, everyone knew the same truth. The galaxy had noticed Earth, and it did not see them as equals. Above the planet, alien ships appeared. They floated like shadows, their hulls dark and sharp. They did not fire, they did not speak, they only hovered, watching, reminding humanity that the demand was real. Humanity was no longer alone. Humanity was under threat in New York. The United Nations building buzzed with voices. The president of one nation shouted for surrender. The prime minister of another shouted for war. Generals argued over numbers and weapons. Scientists warned that alien power was beyond imagination. The room shook with noise, but no decision came. Far away, in hidden bases beneath the oceans, inside the hollow mountains and on the dark side of the moon, men and women in uniform listened to the alien demand too. But they did not speak of surrender. They whispered another word, a word feared by those who knew it, a word kept secret for years. The Black Armada. While the world panicked, while leaders argued, these hidden soldiers smiled grimly. They knew humanity had prepared for this day. They knew the galaxy thought Earth was weak, but they knew something the galaxy did not. Humanity had teeth, the alien voice returned after one day. Earth, it said again, submit or perish. The council has no time for delay, Bo, or be destroyed. Cities trembled, families prayed. Some leaders prepared messages of surrender. But deep inside the Earth, the Black Armada stirred. In a control room lit with red screens, Admiral Hayes stood tall, his voice was steady. The time has come, he said. They believe we are helpless, they believe we will kneel, but they do not know what we have built. They do not know the fire we carry, they will learn. Around him, men and women in dark uniforms nodded, their eyes burned with resolve. Meanwhile, news spread across the planet. Protests filled the streets, some cried, do not fight. Do not die. Others screamed, we will never kneel. The world was split, fear against pride, weakness against strength. But in the shadows, preparations continued in space. The alien ships tightened their formation. Their weapons glowed faintly, ready to strike on Earth. Leaders still shouted and argued. Time was running out. The deadline drew near. Humanity would have to choose surrender or resistance. But as the final hour approached, a signal flashed through hidden channels. It reached submarines under ice, it reached bases under deserts. It reached secret hangars on Mars. The message was only 3 words, words spoken with steel. Prepare the Armada, the galaxy demanded Earth kneel. But in the darkness of space, engines roared to life. Black ships slowly awakened, unseen, unknown, unstoppable. Humanity had been given a choice. But humanity was about to give its answer. Whispers of defiance. The alien fleet circled Earth like vultures above prey. Their silent presence pressed down on every city, every heart. The council thought humanity would break quickly. They thought fear would make Earth bow without a fight. But in the hidden places of the world, another kind of silence grew. A silence of preparation, of secrets too long kept. Beneath the Atlantic Ocean, in a base carved deep into stone, men and women in black uniforms gathered around glowing screens. No flags of nations hung there, only the symbol of the Armada, a dark star surrounded by steel wings. They had been trained in shadows, fed by hidden resources, and guided by one single mission: be ready when the galaxy comes. Admiral Hayes walked among them, his boots echoing softly. He said no words at first, only watched the men and women who had sworn their lives to this secret fleet. They were soldiers, pilots, engineers, and even scientists who had abandoned their homes to live in silence. When the alien demand came, they were not surprised. They had always known this day would come. Whispers spread across Earth, Hayes finally said. Leaders argue, people fear. But here we do not kneel, here we do not hesitate. The Council believes they see everything, but they do not see us. They think humanity is alone, weak, broken. They will soon learn they are wrong. His words carried through the base, and the people straightened. For years they had wondered if their sacrifice would matter. Now they knew it was time on the moon. In a crater hidden from alien eyes, massive hangars opened slowly. Shadows of ships long prepared stirred awake. Their hulls gleamed with a black sheen that drank the light. Each vessel was designed for war, built with Earth's stubborn creativity. They were not pretty, but they were deadly. Weapons that combined human ingenuity with stolen fragments of alien tech. But it was not just machines. It was the will of the people who built them on Mars. Engineers worked day and night under the red sky. They welded plates, tested engines, and whispered to each other as news of the alien demand spread across colonies. They think we will kneel, one said. Let them try. They will see the Armada. Meanwhile, Earth's leaders continued their endless debate. Some demanded peace, others demanded war. Many wanted to hide behind words and paper agreements. They did not know the Armada already waited. They did not know their choice was already slipping from their hands. Across the globe, ordinary people felt powerless. But stories began to move through the streets. Stories of black ships hidden in the seas, of soldiers training in silence, of weapons built where no eye could see. Some thought these were rumors, but whispers have power. The people began to hope that humanity was not as weak as the Council believed. The alien fleet sent new warnings. They broadcast images of destroyed worlds, planets that once refused to kneel. The message was clear: surrender or be erased. But as those images played in the secret rooms of the Armada, no one flinched. Instead, they studied the alien tactics. Their ship formations, their weapons. Every threat became knowledge, every warning became a lesson. Admiral Hayes gathered his commanders in the war room. A large star map lit up the chamber. He pointed at the alien fleet above Earth. They believe we are prey, he said, but we are hunters in the dark. We will not reveal ourselves until the moment is right, and when we strike, the galaxy will remember, one young officer whispered. Sir, what if we fail? What if the Armada is not enough? The room fell silent. Hayes looked at her and spoke in a steady voice. Then we will die standing, not kneeling. Humanity deserves no less. Those words spread like fire among the hidden bases. The soldiers repeated them as if they were prayer. Die standing, not kneeling. It became the secret song of humanity. Above, the alien ship still circled, waiting for Earth's surrender. They did not know that in the shadows of oceans, moons and planets, humanity's answer was already rising. The Black Armada did not whisper of surrender. It whispered of defiance, of fire, of war, and when the time came, those whispers would roar loud enough to shake the stars. The first contact clash, the alien fleet finally moved. Their ships descended lower, glowing like predators circling their prey. They sent shuttles down into Earth's skies, black needles slicing through clouds. Humanity watched from rooftops, from open fields, from trembling homes. This was no longer just a demand, this was the beginning of domination. One shuttle landed outside Geneva, its hull glistening with strange symbols. The doors opened, and tall alien envoys stepped out. Their skin shimmered with metallic hues, their eyes burned like cold fire. They carried no weapons in their hands, but their presence alone felt like blades. They walked into the United Nations building with arrogance. Their translator devices echoed every word across the chamber. You will kneel, one envoy said, his voice sharp and steady. You will sign the Treaty of Submission. From this moment on, your armies are dissolved. Your fleets dismantled, your leaders stripped of power. You will serve the Council or you will burn. The chamber fell into chaos. Some leaders cried out in protest. Others begged for peace. The aliens stood silent, their faces cold. They had seen this fear on 100 worlds before. To them, Earth was nothing new, nothing special. But hidden cameras in the chamber sent the images live across the planet. People watched, hearts pounding. Some cried, some screamed, some clenched their fists. The world was being humiliated before their eyes. And far away, deep under the Atlantic base, Admiral Hayes watched the broadcast too. He leaned forward, eyes narrow. Around him, his officers waited. They believe we are cornered, he said. They believe this is the end. But we will give them a surprise they will never forget. While politicians argued with the aliens, while speeches echoed in the chamber, silent shadows moved in orbit. Ships of the Black Armada shifted in the dark. Invisible to alien sensors, their black hulls absorbed light. Their engines whispered like ghosts. They did not reveal themselves. Not yet, but they prepared, waiting for the order. The first clash came not from the politicians, but from a lone human officer, Captain Ruiz of the Earth Guard. He stood inside the Geneva chamber, face pale but hands steady. He listened as the alien envoy sneered. "Your planet has no choice." Ruiz stepped forward. "Earth always has a choice," he said. His words echoed louder than expected. Silence filled the hall. The envoy turned with contempt. "And what choice is that, human?" Ruiz's voice shook but did not break. "The choice to fight." The envoy's cold eyes narrowed. Then he raised one long hand and with a gesture, armored guards stormed into the hall. Weapons glowed. A warning had become an execution. But before the guards could fire, the world outside shifted. The skies rumbled. And from the horizon a massive shadow moved across the clouds. The Black Armada had revealed its first ship. It was not sleek, not shining, but dark, brutal, and terrifying. Its hull stretched wider than any building in Geneva. Its weapons glowed faint red. It hovered above the city like the judgment of gods. The alien guards froze. The envoy turned. And for the first time their arrogance cracked. Across the planet billions of humans gasped. The secret was no longer hidden. The Armada existed and it was real. Admiral Hayes spoke into his comm. "Shadow 1, test their courage." From the dark hull of the ship a single beam of energy lanced out. It did not strike the city, it struck the sky. Tearing a hole in the alien shuttle still waiting above, the ship exploded in a flash of fire. Raining sparks across the atmosphere, the message was clear. Humanity would not bow. Humanity would fight. Panic rippled through the alien envoys. They shouted into their comms, calling for reinforcements, but in orbit. More black shadows stirred one by one. Ships of the Armada revealed themselves. Silent giants rising from hiding. The first contact had turned into the first clash. Not a full war, not yet, but a spark. A spark that carried the promise of fire. In the chamber, Captain Ruiz stood taller. Soldiers around him raised their weapons. For the first time the fear lifted. The envoy hissed. "You are making a mistake, human." Ruiz answered, "No. This is humanity's answer." Outside, alarms echoed through the alien fleet. Their perfect plan of easy conquest had shattered. They came expecting submission. They found defiance, they found the Black Armada, and as the news spread across the galaxy, whispers began in faraway worlds, whispers of Earth, whispers of humans who refused to kneel. The clash had begun, and the stars would never be silent again. Revelation of the Armada. The alien fleets above Earth shivered in formation. Their commanders had expected silence and fear, but instead they now faced a sight they had never imagined. The Black Armada revealed itself piece by piece, like shadows tearing out of the void from the deep oceans. Great waves rose as hidden warships surfaced. Black hulls shaped like blades cut through the water. Engines roared as they lifted into the sky, leaving trails of steam and lightning. From the desert's hidden hangars opened wide. Ships climbed upward, their surfaces dark as night. Soldiers saluted as the vessels vanished into the clouds. On the moon's far side, gigantic doors split open and an entire fleet slid out. Silent, merciless, waiting for command. Billions on Earth watched live feeds with wide eyes. Children who once feared now whispered in awe. Workers, farmers, teachers all stared at the screens. For years they had been told Earth was weak. For years they believed no power could resist the galaxy. But now they saw it with their own eyes. Humanity had prepared. Humanity had teeth in orbit. Alien admirals shouted orders. Scan them, identify them, destroy them. But their sensors screamed with confusion. The Black Armada's hulls drank light and scattered signals. Every reading came back wrong. Ships seemed larger than they were, smaller than they were, faster than possible, slower than expected. The aliens were blinded. Admiral Hayes stood in the war room beneath the Atlantic. His face calm, though his heart burned. On the Great Star map, black markers appeared one after another. The Armada was no longer a rumor. It was awake, alive, and ready. The galaxy wanted us on our knees, he said. Instead, we rise. His officers repeated the words like a vow. We rise. The first formation of the Armada moved into Earth's orbit. 30 ships aligned in a silent wall. Their weapons remained cold, but their presence alone was enough to terrify. They did not rush, they did not scream, they only stood. Black giants against the stars. An alien commander sneered through a broadcast. Primitive tricks. Shadows painted black. Do you believe this will save you? His voice carried arrogance. But behind his words was something else. Something no alien would admit, fear. The Armada answered without words. One ship, Shadow 7, glided forward. Its massive hull turned slowly, revealing weapons along its spine. Weapons that no alien record had ever catalogued. The ship locked onto an alien cruiser that hovered too close. For a long moment, no one breathed. Then, without warning, Shadow 7 fired. The beam was not bright, it was dark. A stream of energy that swallowed light instead of shining. It cut through the alien cruiser like paper. The ship split in two, pieces drifting apart in silence. No explosion, no fire. Only the quiet death of steel across the galaxy. Worlds watched the broadcast. Some alien citizens gasped. Some whispered that Earth had stolen forbidden power. Some began to doubt their counsel. How could a so-called primitive world destroy a cruiser so easily? In Geneva, Captain Ruiz still stood guard over the envoys. His comm buzzed with updates. He listened with a growing smile. For the first time, humanity was not begging. For the first time, they were showing strength. The alien envoys' faces turned pale silver. Their arrogance cracked on Mars. Engineers stood outside their domes and cheered as the Armada lit the sky. On the moon, soldiers pounded fists against armored doors and shouted, "Never kneel." In cities across Earth, voices rose not in fear but in pride. Humanity had been underestimated. Now the truth was clear. The alien fleet tried to regroup. Ships pulled back, weapons armed, formations shifted. But the Armada mirrored them with calm precision. For every alien cruiser, a black warship faced it. For every squadron, a darker shadow waited. The balance had changed. The galaxy was no longer the only one holding power. Admiral Hayes raised his hand over the comms. "Let them see us," he said. "Let them understand humanity will not kneel. Humanity will not vanish. We are the Black Armada." And across the stars, those words traveled. They reached ears that were not alien commanders. They reached alien rebels, alien slaves, alien worlds long crushed by the Council. Whispers began, whispers that a new power had risen. A power born from Earth. The revelation was complete. Humanity was no longer prey. Humanity was no longer weak. The Armada had risen from the dark, and the galaxy trembled. The first strike, the skies above Earth had never been so crowded. The alien fleet pressed closer, their ships glowing with cruel energy. The Black Armada stood in their way. Silent and dark, every human heart pounded, waiting for the moment when words would end and war would begin. The alien high commander grew impatient. From his throne of steel aboard a massive dreadnought, he gave a single order: test them, break their illusions. At once, smaller alien ships broke away from formation. They descended toward Earth, weapons primed to strike at military bases. The Council wanted to show humanity that resistance was foolish, but humanity was ready. In the Atlantic base, alarm screamed. Admiral Hayes stood firm. "Now we see their hand," he said. "Now we answer." His officers moved with precision. Commands echoed through hidden channels. "Shadow Squadron, intercept. Do not let them reach the planet from orbit." 3 black warships glided forward. Their engines burned red against the dark. They did not hesitate, they met the alien raiders head-on. For a moment the galaxy watched in silence. Then the first shots were fired. Alien plasma beams streaked through space, bright and deadly. The Armada ships did not scatter. They advanced, their hulls absorbing part of the blast. Shields flared but held strong in reply. The Black Armada unleashed weapons the aliens had never seen. Cannons that fired compressed bolts of gravity, tearing through metal as if it were glass. The first alien raider exploded, its fireball lighting the void. Shock rippled through the alien fleet. They had expected human ships to fall like leaves instead. The first clash ended with alien wreckage drifting cold. On Earth, people cheered in their homes, in cities and villages. Screens glowed with the images of the battle. Children raised their fists. Soldiers cried with pride for the first time. The galaxy's chains seemed breakable, but the battle was far from over. More alien raiders surged forward, 10 against 3. Their weapons rained fire. The sky lit with energy beams. Explosions shook the orbit. The Armada ships moved like predators. weaving between blasts, striking back with merciless accuracy. One by one the raiders fell. Their destruction echoed across the stars. The alien commander's face darkened. "Impossible," he hissed. "These primitives cannot fight like this." But the evidence burned before his eyes. Human ships were not only surviving, they were winning. Admiral Hayes watched the feed. His jaw clenched, his officers shouted with joy as each enemy ship died. But Hayes remained calm. "Do not celebrate too soon," he said. "This was only their test. Their true strike is coming." His words hung heavy. In Geneva, the alien envoy's composure broke. They shouted into their devices, demanding reinforcements, demanding explanations. Captain Ruiz stood nearby, his weapon in hand. He leaned closer and whispered, "Do you see now? Aliens bleed too." The envoy glared but said nothing. On Mars, workers poured into the streets. They pointed to the skies, watching the Armada burn brighter with each kill. On the moon, soldiers cheered so loud their voices carried through steel walls. The first strike had changed everything. Humanity was no longer only resisting. Humanity was pushing back, but victory had its price. Shadow 9, a smaller destroyer, was hit directly. Its shields flared and cracked. The ship shook as fire consumed its side. The crew inside screamed orders, fighting to keep the vessel alive. Admiral Hayes received the report. His voice dropped. "Hold the line, do not break. Humanity is watching you." With desperate courage, Shadow 9 turned itself into a weapon. Engines roared at maximum. The ship charged straight into an alien raider. The impact was blinding, both ships shattered. Burning wreckage scattered across the void. On Earth, the feed cut out, then returned. The image of sacrifice spread across every screen. Humanity cried, but their tears carried pride. The alien fleet recoiled. Their commander snarled, "Enough. Destroy them all." Massive warships moved forward. The real war was about to begin. In the war room, Hayes raised his hand. His voice thundered like iron. "The first strike is ours. Now the galaxy will remember this day. Humanity will not bow. Humanity will not kneel. Humanity will fight," his officers answered as one. Humanity will fight. And in the cold silence of space, the Black Armada formed a wall of steel and shadow. Behind them, Earth stood tall. Above them, the stars waited for the storm. The first strike was over, but the war had only begun. The turning tide, the void above Earth, became a battlefield of fire and steel. Alien warships closed in like predators circling their prey. But the Black Armada held the line. Their black hulls absorbed light, their cannons roared, and their engines burned red against the darkness. Humanity was no longer silent. Humanity was fighting back. The alien dreadnought fired first. A beam of blinding light carved through space. It struck Shadow 12, shields flaring like molten glass. The ship shook but did not fall. Instead, its crew answered with fury, launching a storm of missiles that swarmed around the dreadnought's armor. Explosions rippled across its hull. The galaxy watched in disbelief. Earth was not breaking, Earth was fighting. In every city, in every colony, people stood together before screens, cheering with tears in their eyes. They had once felt powerless, but now they saw their courage reflected in the Armada. Farmers, miners, teachers, children, all whispered the same words. "We will never kneel." But the battle was brutal. Alien cruisers swarmed, plasma blasts filled the void. One Armada destroyer after another was struck. Some ships burned, some were torn apart, humanity bled. Yet each time one ship fell, another surged forward. The Armada fought with a spirit the aliens had never seen. Admiral Hayes stood in the Atlantic command room, his voice steady. "They are stronger than us in numbers. They are stronger than us in size, but we are stronger in will. Hold the line." His officers obeyed, relaying orders across fleets hidden in the Moon and Mars. The Armada began to move with deadly coordination. In orbit, alien commanders grew desperate. "Why do they not surrender?" one shouted. "Why do they not bow like the others?" Their sensors filled with chaos. Each time they thought they had cornered the humans. The black ship slipped into the shadows, striking from impossible angles. The Armada fought like wolves, fierce and unpredictable. Then came the turning point. Shadow 6, a heavy cruiser, drifted behind enemy lines under cloak. It crept close to the alien flagship. Engines dimmed, weapons silent. The enemy never saw it until it was too late. Shadow 6 fired all batteries at once. The flagship's rear exploded in fire. The great alien dreadnought groaned as metal tore apart. It reeled, listing in orbit. The sight spread across every channel in the galaxy. The Council's pride, their mighty dreadnought. Crippled by a human ship, whispers began on distant worlds. If Earth could wound the Council, maybe others could too. On the ground in Geneva, alien envoys received the news in silence. Their cold arrogance broke. They shouted into their comms. Demanding reinforcements, Captain Ruiz stood near them, a small smile on his face. Now you see, he whispered, humanity does not kneel. Humanity fights. The alien fleets tried to press harder, but now fear worked against them. Their lines grew sloppy. Their ships hesitated, and each hesitation was punished by the Armada. Every mistake turned into wreckage drifting across space on Mars. Engineers stopped working and gathered outside their domes. They pointed to the skies, watching flashes of fire. Their ships, their designs, their blood and sweat were now legends on the moon. Soldiers pounded their fists and shouted, "Black Armada! Black Armada!" Their voices echoed in the caverns. Back on Earth, families gathered in streets. In homes, in shelters, all listened to the distant thunder of war above them. Instead of fear, there was pride. They no longer saw themselves as small. They saw themselves as part of something greater. Admiral Hayes looked at the star map. Red markers of enemy ships faded one by one. Black markers held their ground. For the first time, the balance shifted. Hayes clenched his fist. "The tide is turning," he said. "And it is turning for us, but victory was not yet complete." The alien commander, furious, sent his remaining fleets forward in one desperate wave. Hundreds of ships lit up the void. Their weapons flared brighter than suns. The Black Armada braced. This would be the battle that decided Earth's fate. Every crew member, every soldier, every pilot knew the truth. Some would not live to see tomorrow, but none of them thought of surrender. Humanity had made its choice, and the galaxy would never forget it. The turning tide had begun. The Armada roared into the storm. The message to the stars. The final wave of alien ships surged across the void. Hundreds of cruisers, frigates, and dreadnoughts moved in a wall of fire. Their weapons flared like angry suns, determined to crush the humans once and for all. The Council wanted Earth erased. They wanted the Black Armada broken. But the Armada stood its ground. Dark ships formed into a massive spearhead. Their engines roared like thunder. Their weapons glowed with red fire. Humanity had no intention of fleeing. They charged forward head-on into the storm. The clash shook the heavens. Plasma beams lit up the sky. Missiles streaked through the darkness. Explosions burst like burning stars. Alien warships fell one after another. But the cost was high. Black Armada ships were torn apart. Crews sacrificed everything to hold the line. For every human vessel that fell, 3 alien ships followed. Shadow 13 rammed an enemy battleship, detonating its core in a blinding flash. Shadow 14 shielded a civilian satellite station, holding position until it was shattered into fragments. Sacrifice and courage painted the battlefield. Humanity fought like a cornered wolf with fire in its eyes. In the war room, Admiral Hayes stood tall. Sweat rolled down his face, but his voice was steady. "This is the moment," he said. "Either we rise or we die, humanity." "Give them everything." Across the fleets, captains answered, "For Earth." "For humanity." The alien commander watched in disbelief as his fleets crumbled. "This cannot be," he hissed. His dreadnought shook as explosions tore across its hull. The invincible armada of the Council was failing against a world they had called primitive. Then came the strike that ended the battle. Shadow 1, the flagship of the Black Armada, moved forward through wreckage and fire, its cannons charged. Glowing with the energy of Earth's defiance, the human crew shouted with one voice as they unleashed their fury. The beam cut through the alien dreadnought, splitting it apart. A fireball brighter than the moon consumed the Council's pride. Silence followed. A silence so deep it seemed the galaxy itself was listening. The alien fleet scattered, their formation shattered. Panic replaced arrogance, fear replaced certainty. The Black Armada had won on Earth. Cheers erupted like a storm. Crowds filled the streets. Soldiers embraced. Families cried with joy. The world that was supposed to kneel had risen instead. Humanity had stood against the galaxy and survived. But Admiral Hayes was not finished. He turned to his comm officer. "Open a channel. To every frequency, every world, every ship," the officer obeyed. Soon, the Admiral's voice carried across the stars. "This is Admiral Hayes of Earth," he said, his words calm but sharp as steel. "The Council demanded our submission. They demanded we kneel today. Humanity has given its answer. We will never kneel. We will never bow. We are free. and we will remain free. Let every star know this. Humanity stands, the message traveled far. To rebel worlds chained by the council, to slaves who prayed for deliverance, to distant colonies that had forgotten hope. They heard the words and whispered them back. Humanity stands. In Geneva, Captain Ruiz looked at the alien envoys, their faces pale with shock. They had no words. Ruiz simply nodded and said, "You asked for our answer. Now you have it." On Mars, engineers wept. Their work had saved the planet on the moon. Soldiers roared the Armada's name into the caverns. On Earth, children lifted their fists, repeating the vow, "We will never kneel." Far across the galaxy, rulers of other empires trembled, for if Earth could defy the Council, then others might rise too. The balance of power had shifted. The stars would never be the same again. Admiral Hayes watched the war map fade. Enemy signals vanished, only wreckage remained. He stood silent for a moment, then whispered, "This is only the beginning." Around him, officers nodded. Their eyes were tired, but their spirits burned bright. The Black Armada returned to orbit, scarred but unbroken. Each ship carried the story of sacrifice. Each survivor carried the pride of a world that refused to bend. Humanity had bled, humanity had suffered, but humanity had endured above Earth. The wreckage of alien fleets drifted as a warning, a reminder to the galaxy this small blue world had teeth, and it would never kneel. And so the story of Earth spread, carried not by fear but by defiance. A story whispered on every world, a story the galaxy would never forget. The story of the day when humanity answered and the stars trembled.